Welcome students. Welcome to Elements of Machine Design, Chapter 2. Today we will discuss design of quarter joints. In Chapter 2, we are having design of quarter joints, knuckle joints, turnbuckles, various types of levers, offset links, etc. Today I will explain you design of quarter joints. So let us see students further what is quarter joint. It's a flat wedge-shaped piece of steel. Quarter joint uses one or two quarters to connect the two rods rigidly. And that two rods are used to transmit the forces and motions. But there is no rotation of the rods. There are three types of quarter joints: socket and spigot and quarter joint, sleeve and quarter joint, and geeb and quarter joint. So one by one I'll show you pictorial view of all three types of quarter joints. Here we can see this is sleeve and quarter joint. There are two quarters. This is one rod end, this is another rod end, and this is a sleeve or muff which is used to connect the two rods. These two are examples of geeb and quarter joint. Geeb is used to provide the more area so that there will not be friction, and slot of the quarter will be saved from rupture. So geeb is inserted. This is for circular geeb and quarter joint, and this is for rectangular shape geeb and quarter joint. So this part is a geeb and this part is a quarter. Next, which we are going to study in detail, that is a socket and spigot and quarter joint. In socket and spigot and quarter joint, one end of the rod is made in the form of a socket. The another end which will be inserted into the socket, and the rod which goes inside the socket is known as a spigot. In both this socket and spigot, rectangular slot will be provided, and in that rectangular slot or a hole, the quarter will be driven in. It will be able to carry a load in axial directions, and that load will be both tensile as well as compressive load. What are various advantages of quarter joints? Quarter joint can be easily made, and the parts always occupy exactly same relative positions after reassembly. It can be used to connect similar pipe tubes. It's quite rigid and can take both tensile and compressive loads. What are drawbacks of the quarter joints? Rectangular rods and dissimilar cylindrical rods cannot be connected. Sleeve and quarter joints which cannot connect cylindrical members, which will be subjected to motion, means the part which are having circular motion, there we can't use this type of quarter joints. Here we will see, students, various applications of the quarter joint. It is used in the bicycle to connect pedal to sprocket wheel. So here you can see example. Piston rod to the crosshead of a reciprocating steam engine. We can see here example. Next we can see its application in the strap end of the connecting rod. So students, you can see it here, and it is used in the piston rod and its extension as a tail or pump rod. There are many other applications also. You can see here we have a pictorial view of socket and spigot and quarter joint. This part is a spigot with spigot collar. There is a slot, rectangular hole. This end is known as spigot end. This part is a socket which is having a circular hole wherein spigot will be inserted. It also has a rectangular slot. When spigot will be inserted over here, this slot will match with this rectangular slot, and inside that quarter will be driven in, and the assembly will be completed so that this rod gets connected to this rod. Water will be given a taper. Taper value is normally 1 in 24 to 1 in 48. Taper is provided for easy insertion and removal of the cotter. So friends, we will see here two-dimensional sketch of socket and spigot and cotter joint. This part, which is shown by pink section lines, is a socket along with the socket collar. This part is a spigot with the spigot collar, and here these two are the rods which are to be connected. Cotter joint is subjected to load P, which will be either tensile or compressive. D is diameter of rod. D1 is outer diameter of socket. D2 is inner diameter of socket as well as diameter of spigot. D3 is diameter of spigot collar. D4 is diameter of socket collar. A is the length or thickness of spigot beyond slot. B is width of cotter. T is thickness of cotter. C is the length of socket collar beyond slot. And T1 is the thickness of spigot collar. So these all are the parameters which I told you before. Then we will be having material of the socket, spigot and rod will be same, and for all those materials, permissible tensile stress is denoted by sigma T, permissible crushing stress is denoted by sigma C, and permissible shear stress is denoted by tau. While solving any design of a cotter joint, we must know the force or the load where the joint is going to be subjected. Knowing the material of all the parts, we will also know, or we must know, permissible tensile stress, crushing stress and shear stress respectively. So students, let us start with the design procedure of socket and spigot and cotter joint. First step in the design is a failure of rod in tension. Friends, we can see that whenever here there is a load which will act, this is a pulling force. It will try to break the rod in this way. So rod will be ruptured. Area of the rod will be perpendicular to the direction of application of force. And you can see here, this is the cut section of the rod. And this one is a two-dimensional sketch. And we observe that from this direction of viewing. From this sketch, we come to know that area resisting tensile failure is pi by 4 d square. So tensile strength of rods will be given by a formula E is equal to pi by 4 d square into sigma t. We know P, we know sigma t, and pi by 4 is constant. From this equation, we will be able to calculate diameter of the rod D. Second step is to find out the diameter of spigot D2. This is spigot and we'll find its diameter. For that, there can be failure of the spigot at the section where this slot is there, because that is the weakest section. So we will consider tensile failure across the slot. And friends, you can see that after tensile failure, how the spigot will be subjected to tensile failure. So this is a pictorial view. You can say cut section of the tensile failure of the spigot. So when we draw its two-dimensional sketch, we can see from this sketch that area resisting tensile failure we can get from this diagram as the area of a circle minus area of this rectangle. So it comes pi by 4 d2 square minus d2 into t. And the tensile strength of this spigot will be area into sigma t. So it comes pi by 4 d2 square minus d2 into t into sigma t. Now in this equation, we are having two unknown parameters, d2 and t, both are unknown. From one equation, we can't find two unknowns. So we will use empirical relationship between thickness of quarter and diameter of spigot. So let us assume that thickness of quarter is d2 by 4. Substituting that value in this equation, our equation of P gets converted as P is equal to d2 square by 4 into bracket pi minus 1 into sigma t. Now we have P, we have sigma t, and pi minus 1 and 4 are constant terms. So from this equation, first we will get value of d2. Once we get the value of d2, P is d2 by 4. So we will also be able to find the thickness of quarter. So from second step, we will find d2 and then we will find T. As we have used empirical relationship in the second step, we must check that our design is right or it is not safe, means safe or unsafe. So we will consider crushing failure of the quarter in spigot, and that is our third step. Crushing failure of quarter in spigot. We can see here that water will be crushed in this spigot, and we can see from this pictorial view that area resisting crushing failure will be a rectangular area. D2 is the height of that rectangular area and T is that width of that rectangular area. So area resisting crushing failure is given by formula d2 into T. And the crushing strength of the quarter is P is equal to d2 into T into sigma C. From previous step, we have found d2 and T. So the same value of d2 and T we will substitute here. We know P. So from this equation, we will find induced crushing stress in the quarter. When we find induced crushing stress, we must check that induced crushing stress should be less than the permissible value. If it is less than permissible, then our design will be safe in crushing failure. If it is not, and design is unsafe. When design becomes unsafe, we can't leave as it is. We have to modify our design. So to make our design strong, we need to increase the parameters, that is diameter of spigot and thickness of the quarter. Fourth step is failure of spigot and due to shearing. This is full assembly of socket and spigot and quarter joint. Quarter will slightly give a push to the end of this spigot, you can see from here. And because of the push by the quarter, end of the spigot will shear off. It will come out. When it will come out like this way, we can see that there are two areas of failures, front and back. So we say that it is a double shear failure. And from this sketch, we can make out that area resisting failure is 2 times D2 into A. So shearing strength of this spigot is given by formula P is equal to 2 into A into D2 into tau. From this equation, the unknown parameter, which is A, that we will be able to calculate. Next step is failure of spigot collar in crushing. From this diagram, we can see that this left face of the spigot collar is in contact with the right extreme face of the socket collar. So when load will be tensile, compressive, at that time, this much area, this much portion of the spigot collar will be subjected to rupture when it comes in contact with the socket collar. Because they are in contact with each other, there will be a localized compressive stress at this particular region. And that failure is known as crushing failure of spigot collar. From this three-dimensional sketch, we can see that it is the differential area of two circular sections. So from this 2D sketch, we can easily make out that area resisting failure is pi by 4 d3 square minus pi by 4 d2 square. And we can say that crushing strength of spigot collar is given by P is equal to pi by 4 d3 square minus d2 square into sigma c. From second step, we have calculated d2 and we know remaining parameters. So from this equation, we will be able to find out diameter of spigot collar d3. Next, sixth step is the failure of spigot collar in shearing. We can see here, this light part is a socket and this is a spigot which is connected by the cotter, which is not actually shown here. But cotter is strongly keeping these two parts together. It is not allowing the socket and spigot to get separated. And because of the pulling load, spigot will remain inside the socket and collar of the spigot will be separated from the spigot and it will be sheared off like this way. And students, you can see that it will shear off like this. So this is the circumferential shearing. So whenever there is a circumferential shearing, this area we need to consider. So equation of area resisting failure, which is a shear failure, will be equal to pi d into thickness. So diameter here is d2. Thickness is the thickness of spigot collar. So from this equation, it is pi into d2 into t1, that is the area of shear failure of spigot collar. Then we will see the equation of a shear strength of the spigot collar. So it is area into tau is the P. So P is equal to pi into d2 into t1 into tau. From this equation, we will find out the thickness of spigot collar, which will not allow any shear failure of the spigot. So minimum how much thickness is required, that we will be able to calculate from this equation. So here up till now, step number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 were all steps of failure of spigot. Now we will see step number 7, 8, 9 are the failure of socket end. So let us start with step number 7. We are interested to find out diameter of socket, outer diameter of socket, actually that is diameter D1. Socket can be subjected to failure at this place, or it can be subjected to failure at this place, or it can be subjected to failure at this place. Over here it is solid. Over here it is hollow circular. Here where we have shown the failure, there it is hollow circular with rectangular slot. And there it has minimum area, so chances of failure would be high. So we have considered the tensile failure of the socket across a slot. And from this 3D diagram, that is a pictorial view, you can see that how socket will be subjected to tensile failure. That 3D diagram we have shown into a two-dimensional sketch. Seeing this sketch, we can see that we have to consider the area which is shaded one. So actually it is first difference of two circular areas, and then we have to subtract this rectangular area from that two differential circular areas. So area resisting tensile failure is equal to pi by 4 d1 square minus d2 square minus d1 minus d2 into thickness. We have not taken here multiplied by 2, though we can see here two rectangles. But if I am taking a radial difference, R1 minus R2, then I need to multiply here by 2. But we are taking a diametral difference. So it will be D1 minus D2 into T. This area, when it will be multiplied by the tensile stress, it will become the equation of a tensile strength of socket across a slot. From this equation, we will find minimum safe diameter of socket D1, which will not allow any tensile failure of the socket. Next is the failure of socket collar, or we can say failure of cotter in the socket collar due to crushing. Cotter is subjected to crushing. Like how we have seen, this left portion of the cotter will be subjected to crushing failure in spigot. But similar to that, this right hand side portion of the cotter, which is in contact with the socket collar, will be subjected to crushing failure. You can easily see from this pictorial diagram. Now we will see its two-dimensional sketch. So friends, we can see here it's a rectangular area, and for length we will be taking diametral difference, and the width is the thickness. So the equation of area is D4 minus D2 into T. And the strength equation will be area into sigma C. So it comes T is equal to D4 minus D2 into T into sigma C. We are interested to find the safe diameter of the socket collar, which will resist crushing failure. So from this equation, we will find out the minimum safe diameter of socket collar, that was D4. Ninth step is failure of socket end due to shearing. We are talking about the end of the socket which is beyond the slot. And that parameter we have denoted by C, that length of the socket collar beyond slot is denoted by C. From this diagram, we can see that due to push by cotter, socket collar, this much portion will shear off. And here, because front and back, both portions are area of failure, so we call it as a double shear failure. So when we see that equation from this diagram, area of a failure can be given by the equation 2 times D4 minus D2 into C. So shear strength of the socket collar is given by E is equal to 2 times D4 minus D2 into C into tau. From this equation, we will find thickness of socket collar beyond slot which will resist shear failure. Nth step is failure of cotter due to shearing. When cotter is weak, it will get separated. This much portion of the cotter will move along with this spigot and this will remain inside the socket. So cotter will be sheared off like this way and we call it as a double shear failure because there are two areas of failures. So friends, we can see that here this is a top plane of failure and this one is the bottom plane of failure. So equation of area of a failure is 2 times breadth into thickness. So shear strength of the cotter is given by the equation P is equal to 2 into B into T into tau. From this equation, we can easily find minimum width of the cotter which will resist shear failure. And the last step, that is the failure of cotter in bending. Friends, we have seen that here there is a clearance of 2 to 3 millimeter in a 2D sketch previously, and here also there is a clearance of 2 to 3 millimeter. Because of that clearance between socket and cotter and spigot and cotter, cotter will be subjected to bending. Means we can say that there will be a slight deflection of the cotter with respect to neutral axis. This is the neutral axis. As we know that load acting on the axis is P, as we will be considering only upper half portion of the cotter, so we will be taking load P by 2 on both sides. Here we can see that this is the spigot part. Spigot is solid circular section. So load is uniformly distributed load. Socket is a hollow circular section. So here we can see that load will be uniformly varying. Maximum will be at the innermost section and minimum load will be at the outermost section of the socket collar. I hope you can understand this in a better way from this sketch. Now we have to find out the maximum bending moment which will act on this cotter. For that, we'll be considering this bending moment of load P by 2 into perpendicular distance minus P by 2 into this perpendicular distance. So this is the diameter of socket collar, which is D4. This is diameter of spigot, which is D2. So this is which is a radial difference. So we call this as D4 minus D2 divided by 2. As in a UVL, which is a triangular load, center of gravity is 1/3 of this distance. So P by 2 will act at 1/3 of D4 minus D2 divided by 2. And this is half of the spigot diameter, which is D2 by 2. So when we take moment on the right side, it will be equal to P by 2 into bracket D2 by 2 plus D4 minus D2 divided by 6. Because this is anti-clockwise moment and this is clockwise moment, so this right side moment we will subtract because we are going to take a summation of the moment about neutral axis. So this moment will be P by 2 into D2 by 4. When we simplify this, it comes P by 2 into bracket D2 by 4 plus D4 minus D2 by 6. Then now, what is the moment of inertia of a rectangular section about YY axis? That is TB cube by 12. And Y is the distance of extreme fiber from neutral axis, that will be B by 2. So Z is the section modulus, which is ratio of moment of inertia to the distance of extrememost fiber from neutral axis, and for rectangular section here it is TB square by 6. We know all the parameters over here. So we will be using the formula M upon I is equal to sigma B upon Y. Rearranging the term, our equation will become sigma Bi is My upon I. I by Y is a section modulus. So sigma B formula becomes sigma B is equal to M upon Z. We need to substitute all these values here and Z all values here. So from this equation, we can find the bending stress induced in the cotter material, and it should be less than the permissible value. Last step, that is the length of cotter. This is the length of cotter. So we have an empirical relationship for a length of cotter, which is 4 times the diameter of rod. And friends, I told you before that taper in the cotter is ranging from 1 in 24 to 1 in 48. But its value should not exceed beyond 1 in 24. Otherwise, there will be locking device also will be needed. So this is all about the design procedure of cotter joint. So students, to make you understand in a better way, I have made a table for you. In that table, first is a serial number, that are steps. Second is indicating the part name which is subjected to failure. So which part subjected to which failure? Then which parameter we are going to calculate, which is the safe dimension to avoid this failure. And here in this column, we will see strength equation, and that we will get with the support of the failure sketch, which is shown in the last column. So let us discuss one by one all steps at a glance. First step is to find diameter of the rod considering tensile failure. With this sketch, we will come to know that the strength equation is pi by 4 d square into sigma t. Second step is considering tensile failure of spigot across a slot. So here this is the failure sketch. Strength equation is this. In this equation, if we substitute T is equal to D2 by 4, P will be D2 square by 4 into bracket pi minus 1 into sigma T. From this equation, first we can find D2 and then T is D2 by 4. So we can also find T. As here we have used empirical relation, third step is to check design of cotter in crushing failure. So we can see this is a failure sketch. So strength equation is D2 into T into sigma C induced. From this equation, we have to find sigma C induced. After finding sigma C induced, we need to check it should be less than permissible value. Fourth step is failure of spigot and due to shearing. So this is the sketch. Two areas are there, front and back. So it is double shear failure. Strength equation is E is equal to 2 into A into D2 into tau. And from this equation, we can find A. Fifth step is spigot collar in crushing failure. So this is the failure sketch. Strength equation is pi by 4 D3 square minus D2 square into sigma C. And from this equation, we will find the safe diameter of the spigot collar, which will resist crushing failure. Sixth step is failure of spigot collar in shearing. You can see this is circumferential shearing. So strength equation is pi D2 into T1 into tau. From this equation, we can find thickness of spigot collar which will resist shear failure. That will be the minimum thickness required. So now we will see seventh step, that is failure of socket across a slot due to tension. Here we have a failure sketch. With the help of this sketch, we can make the strength equation. T is equal to pi by 4 D1 square minus D2 square minus D1 minus D2 into T, the whole multiplied by sigma T. And from this equation, we can find D1. How to find D1 from this equation? That I'll explain in my next lecture when I'll explain you one numerical of the cotter joint. Eighth step is failure of cotter in socket collar due to crushing. We can see failure sketch from here. And with the help of this, again we can make the strength equation. T is equal to D4 minus D2 into T into sigma C. Here area is rectangular, which is hollow rectangle. From this equation, we can find the minimum diameter, outer diameter of the socket collar, which will resist the crushing failure. Ninth step is failure of socket collar beyond slot in shearing. So here we can see this is a double shear failure. Students, we have seen from this failure sketch the equation of the strength. T is equal to 2 into D4 minus D2 into C into tau. From this equation, we will be able to find the minimum length or thickness beyond slot for the socket collar to resist the shear failure. Next is the failure of cotter due to shearing. So here we can see from the failure sketch, cotter is subjected to double shear failure. Strength equation is 2 times B into T into tau. From this equation, we will find minimum width required to resist the shear failure of cotter. 11th step is failure of cotter in bending. We will be finding bending stress induced in the cotter. So to find the bending stress induced, we must find the bending moment and section modulus Z, which I had explained in the previous slides in 11th step. 12th step is to find the length of the cotter. Length of the cotter over here, L is equal to 4 times the diameter, which is very simple, correct? And with that, we have completed here design procedure of quarter joint. So in all, it is having 12 steps. I hope you have enjoyed. Thank you very much.